What's up guys, Noah here and welcome to Book of Showtime Chapter 60, another milestone. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and share with your friends, and if you have a topic you'd like for me to cover for Book of Showtime, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below, or anywhere you can reach me on social media or the Book of Showtime Discord. So with WrestleMania 40 just over a week out, are you guys excited? I know I am. I decided to revisit one of my favorite reoccurring topics, booking decisions I change, this time with a focus on a showcase of Immortals. We're going to begin with Charlotte beating Asuka at WrestleMania 34. Asuka had a dominant run up to WrestleMania 34. She finished her NXT run undefeated, won the very first Women's Royal Rumble, and was poised to take over as the queen of the women's division before she ran into Charlotte Flair, not only failing to capture the world title, but losing by submission. Now apparently the reasoning for Asuka tapping out was to create a shocking moment because no one would expect Asuka to lose, especially in that fashion. And yes, it was indeed shocking, but ending someone's rise like this just for the heck of it is such a Vince McMahon move. I'm glad he's gone. Also, it's interesting to note that two Japanese stars won both the Royal Rumbles the same year and lost in matches they should have won. Shinsuke Nakamura absolutely should have defeated AJ Styles. That match should be on here too, but I don't feel as strongly as I do about Asuka losing. And it's also criminal that Shinsuke hasn't been a world champion in WWE. Does that bother anybody else? He's been close a few times, but he's never gotten over the hump. Now another reason this sticks in my craw, and this is going into hot take territory, but I feel that Charlotte Flair is one of the most overrated women's wrestlers of all time. I think she's been very overbooked. She has just as many title reigns as her dad has retirement matches, and I think Charlotte is only as good as the person she's wrestling. This isn't to say she's a bad wrestler or she's not good in the ring. She is a good worker. But right now, if you went and showed me all of her absolute best matches, I don't think she's the best wrestler in any of them. That's just me. Moving on, Zack Ryder winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 32. For the second year in a row, WrestleMania opened up with a stacked ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. And do you guys also remember when WrestleMania ditched numbers? This was WrestleMania 32, but Vince McMahon thought that having the numbers made it feel old, which is such a weird thing. But I digress. In a match that had Sami Zayn, reigning champion Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler, it was the Broski that climbed the ladder to get his WrestleMania moment. Emphasis on moment, because he would promptly lose the title the next night on Raw to The Miz. It just never sat right with me, and that was a really good match, so to have the result be almost arbitrary within 24 hours is baffling, but that's good old Vince McMahon for you. Now, I don't have any issues with Zack Ryder as Intercontinental Champion, even if he did lose a ton in his WWE career, and who can forget that horrendous John Cena Eve Torres storyline. But one day just feels like a waste. I think if he had a nice little Cinderella run with the title, that would be a much better alternative. Also, tell me down below guys, what is your favorite Intercontinental title design? I'm really feeling the current iteration, but I sometimes miss the white strap design, and also the one right before it in 2011. That was a title I grew up on. Moving on, Santina Marella at WrestleMania 25. Oh boy, what a time. What a time to be alive. If you ever think that women's wrestling is in a rough period, whether it be in the next couple of years or even in another company, it's been much worse. We were really in the trenches with women's wrestling, weren't we? Anyway, for the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, shout out Kevin Rudolph, WWE had a women's battle royale to crown Miss WrestleMania, which not only included current stars like Beth Phoenix and Mickie James, but returning WWE legends like Molly Holly, Victoria, Sunny, and Tori Wilson. And yet, it was won by a cross-dressing Santina Marella. This just shows you exactly what WWE, and more importantly, Vince McMahon thought of women's wrestling all those years ago. God, I hate Vince. I know Vince was sitting in gorilla position thinking this is the funniest thing he's ever come up with. I just know it. You guys also remember how we refer to the women's wrestlers as divas? And do you also remember that hideous Divas Championship? It looked like a Barbie Dream Wrestler Championship and one for the biggest wrestling company in the world. It looks so cheap. I actually saw a clip of Charlotte Flair holding it the other day, and I was like, that just looks so wrong to me, so cursed. This also harkens back to Chapter 54, where we talked about the worst Rumble and Money in the Bank winners, and Carmella winning with the help of James Ellsworth. This should have been a moment reserved for the ladies, but it's overshadowed by a man. Now the thing is, we're still talking about it 15 years later, so I guess WWE accomplished their mission, but I'd rather forget about a good thing than remember a bad thing. I think this Battle Royale match should have been used to elevate a new star instead of beginning this long, drawn-out comedy angle. Santina Marella showing up on screen actually gave me secondhand embarrassment watching with my mom, and it's funny because the angle ended when Santina was fired by none other than Donald Trump of all people, so thanks Donald, but you also should have fired Vince while you were at it. Finally, we end with Lesnar ending the undefeated streak. We finish up this chapter with one of the most polarizing finishes in WrestleMania history, the long and storied undefeated streak of The Undertaker coming to an end at the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania. This was one of the moments that genuinely shocked wrestling fans. I don't think we knew what to think about it, and I'm not a big fan of a part-timer doing this, but that also sets up Lesnar's WWE title match where he squashed Cena, and that probably doesn't happen without the Mania win. Paul Heyman actually explained on Talk Is Jericho why Brock Lesnar made the most sense, as he's undefeated against Undertaker on pay-per-view, and he's been world champion in UFC, WWE, and New Japan, so he has the street cred to beat Undertaker, and I was okay with that explanation, but I just don't think the timing was right. All of us as fans assumed for years that when the streak ended, so did the dead man's illustrious career, and looking back, it probably should have ended, as he certainly wrestled longer than he should have, but the bad matches tend to stick out way more, especially the Goldberg and DX matches. Oof. I have no issue with the streak ending, but I think there's only one man who should have ended the streak, and that was the man who faced Taker the next year, the late Bray Wyatt, which, saying that out loud, man, losing someone like Bray Wyatt so soon, that is just terrible, but I solemnly digress. Even with the streak ended, I still think that Bray Wyatt should have won at WrestleMania 31, and this would have been the perfect match and perfect way to pass the torch of these supernatural characters. I think he should have came out and squashed Undertaker personally, just snatched the torch, so to speak, and buried the dead man once and for all. And because the theme of this chapter is Vince McMahon sucking, the WrestleMania 31 card also had Sting make his WWE debut, and reportedly the dream match of Stinger versus Taker never happened because Vince McMahon simply didn't want it to happen. It's like, come on, dude, this was a tremendous dream match that we were robbed of, just the novelty of it alone, and especially now in recent years, we definitely could have done a cool cinematic match, but now we're just wondering what could have been. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what booking decisions you would have changed at WrestleMania. I hope you guys actually enjoy WrestleMania 40. Let me know what match you're looking forward to on that card. Inshallah, I will see you in the next chapter.